All the way from the Ridge in High Ridge, Missouri, this is Huggy Kindness, a loving kindness fairy with Huggy Kindness Studios at Tea Time, a couple Loving Kindness podcast series. Here, this is Loving Kindness Land, a community garden where we can just be seen in the light for who we are and be witnessed for the gifts and the authentic radiance that we each bring to this world. Everyone, we have a wonderful guest star on today's show. Shannon Curtis has been a singer-songwriter for a solo career of 17 years and a band before that, so a total of 25 years altogether, and is here today to share some of her journey of where she's been, the life experiences that she's had, and the music that has taken her through all of that. Dear Shannon, I just want to thank you for joining us here today. It is a true gift having you here for me, because it was in 2015 that I heard your song for the first time. I was in a coaching program, a personal development program, and each time my cohort entered the room, we listened to this song as a magical kind of centering and a regrounding to help get us back into the space for some really challenging purging and self-healing experiences. So it was really your song, I Know, that has inspired how I show up for myself and others. And for that, I am deeply grateful. You know, with you being here today, I just want to know, can you share a little bit of the inspiration behind the song and why you felt called to bring its creation into existence?
Oh, first of all, you sharing how that song has been part of your life in the way that it has is so meaningful to me. Like, you don't even know. Thank you for sharing that. And really that is just like the apex goal for me as a creator, that, you know, I hope with everything that I make that it finds its way into people's lives in a way that helps them to make a deeper connection with themselves and with other people. You know, that's sort of my mission statement of why I create. So I just thank you for sharing that story. That's really, really cool.
And thank you, because it's infused like throughout every step of my way since. It's been like a roadmap. It's been something that I call from my heart, and really I think gave me strength to be able to endure the different things in my life, to be able to build Loving Kindness Land and this podcast series to what it is. It's like the wind beneath my wings.
That's incredible to hear.
It gives me chills every time I hear the song. So that's why I say each time when I, start the podcast series and I give thanks to your song and to you, it's like hearing it over again, like for the first time.
That is so meaningful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. To tell you the story behind the song and why it sort of came into being for me, in about 2011, I started doing house concerts. I had been doing lots of touring prior to that, in like little coffee houses, clubs, things like that, normal places that you might find a singer-songwriter or somebody sitting behind a piano doing songs. But we started doing house concerts, and the vibe of a house I don't know if you've ever been to a house concert before, but like the vibe of a house concert is so much different than the vibe in any other kind of like public music venue. It's just so much more intimate. It's so much more personal. And so I started having these experiences as we, started doing more and more house concerts over the years, where, I would be in someone's living room or someone's backyard, and I'd be at this piano and I'd be, singing my songs, and in between the songs, telling my personal stories of where the songs came from. And I'm an emotional person with a dramatic flair. So, I'm when I write music, I'm writing stuff that's really personal, that I write about stuff that I'm working through personally on my insides, right? So when I was sharing stories about, some of these things, really, what would happen is I would spend an hour in front of people pouring out my heart and letting them see me, in a pretty vulnerable sort of way. And what I discovered at these house concerts was most nights, pretty much every night at these shows, I'd go over to my pop-up store afterward, to help people get t-shirts and CDs and stuff like that. And there would be like a small line of people waiting to talk to me, and they were perfect strangers, people I only had met earlier that night. Like we're not like BFFs or anything like that. But these people were lining up, and then when they would get to me, they would clasp my hand and look at me in the eyes and well up with tears and share with me, I just need to tell you how I've been struggling with depression for the last 5 years. And I just wanted you to know, basically. Or I want to tell you that I got divorced 2 years ago, and here's what my experience has been like since then. I need to tell you that I'm going through cancer right now. And like, so people sharing with me their deepest stuff, And I think that on one level, I've always been that kind of person who attracts, like, I think people know that I will listen, so that there's that part of my personality. But also, I struggled to see why this was happening like every night. But I think that the magic was that, like, I had spent an hour showing myself to people, being like, here, I'm going to open up my heart and let you see me. And I think that experience of people in the audience having seen me do that was something like an invitation for them to be like, you know what, I could let this person see me too, and I could actually feel like I'm a little less alone, because she's shown me that we can open up and we can say these things to each other. And so these little magic moments, that experience was in my head. And then I in 2015 2014, 2015, discovered the work of Brene Brown.
Oh, yes.
And started diving into her stuff. And I mean, especially during that time, all of her work was about about vulnerability, It was, really underlining, she helped put words to what my experience was with these people. It was like, when we allow ourselves to, in the appropriate safe spaces to do that, to open ourselves up and show ourselves to each other, we create an opportunity for the kinds of connection that we need with each other to survive and thrive in this life. Like, we have to, that is how we get there. That's how we get all of the good juices that make our lives, like, that keep us going and make it worth living, right?
Yes.
It starts with that moment. And so that's where the song I Know came from. It was just like, look, come here, sit with me, tell me everything, and like, I'm going to do that for you too. And we're going to be there for each other, because